What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome back to another episode of Draft to Glory. Today we're going to be doing the fastest draft in FIFA. We're going to be picking the players with the highest pace stat, and then obviously if there's some that have very same, like if there's two people with say 99 pace, we'll do it for chemistry, but the highest pace stat was one that you guys wanted to see. If you guys want to recommend any themed drafts, pop it in the area that you type things in down below. Once again, dudes, well, first of all, don't need these headphones on. Once again, I appreciate the support you guys have continued to give on this series. If you could drop another thumbs up, it would be amazing. We haven't gone under 5,000 likes in over 1 month on Draft to Glory. That is amazing for this stage of FIFA, so thank you guys so much. Let's go for the 4-2-3-1 wide. Why not? Something a little bit different. And we're going to start off with Gareth Bale with 94 pace. That's not bad. This is actually a good set of captains. Who would I probably choose if it wasn't for forcing to be picked with Bale? I'd probably go with Dybala in a cam. But Gareth Bale is the man for the role out at right wing. Up front, it's going to be Jamie Vardy. Damn, that Aguero would have been real nice. That Higuain would have been real nice. But the Giroud would have been super nice. But Jamie Vardy is going to be our striker. What does he have for a weak foot? 3-star, 3-star. It'll be interesting to see how good he is. Obviously got blistering pace. If we can get any chemistry on him at all, that would be fantastic. Next up, it is going to be Bailey. That's such a shame that we couldn't use potentially Carrasco for La Liga theme. But Bailey there coming in with 93 pace, 4-star, 4-star and 5'11". I rate that. That's going to be good. I know he's only 76 rated, and that's because his technical stats aren't so good. His shooting and passing are pretty bad. But everything else about him, he's got some good things going on there. In at cam, Tyson is probably going to be our cam. Yes, he is. The Brazilian. Not a single link yet, so this could be a poor draft. CDM, this is important for pace. Pace and power. 77 on Diarra. I don't mind Diarra at all. Once again, we've literally got 5 nations and 5 different leagues. 4 of the major leagues and the Ukrainian league. Let's see if we can actually pick something up that's going to benefit the team at all. Felipe Melo there. Okay, so we actually get a link there, but we've got all 5 of the major nations. Now what I'm going to do, guys, is when I pick the subs and reserves, if I get like a 99 pace player, I'm only going to put them in position, if that makes sense. So if I get like if I get a right wing with 93 pace and 2 left wings with 95 pace, I'm not going to play left wing instead of Bailey 95 and then left wing at right wing instead of Bale at 95. I'll keep the positions the same. So at least that way we can get some chemistry, if that makes sense. Otherwise, I'll probably be forced to play, for example, a striker at centre-back because the strikers would just have more pace. At left-back, we're going to be going for Haps. So another league and another nation. This team is so weird, but I don't mind it too much. In at centre-back, that Sergio Ramos is nice. Doesn't get any links to anyone yet, but 81 pace, very, very nice. This team is, it'd be interesting to see how it works. Jeremy Matthews not bad. Toprak is the guy that we're going to have to pick though. And again, we've got just one soft link is all we've managed to pick up so far. For the goalkeepers, I guess I could just take whoever I want. So this is an instance where there's 2 people with the same amount of pace. So now we take someone for chemistry. Now Bellerin obviously would be good for Sergio Ramos, but Dani Alves is good for that strong link into Felipe Melo. So that's who we're going to take. And then like I say, for goalkeeper, I suppose we could go for the speed stat. But the speed stat doesn't really mean much. Although we could just take the speed stat. Let's do it. Let's take Asenjo. He has the highest speed there of all those goalkeepers. And he actually gets a strong link into Sergio Ramos. So we're at 58 chemistry on this team. But I'm hoping that we'll be able to get some big improvements to some of these players. So we'll take ourselves Cristiano Ronaldo with 98 pace. Can't really go wrong there. We don't gain any chemistry points out of that. But I'm not really bothered because it's 99 Ronaldo. So who cares? Next on there, we've got 80 pace Danilo. 91 Delafeu is going to be the guy that we... See, now I'm not going to take necessarily the highest paced player here. What I'll do is I'll take a player and then if they have higher pace than the position that they're in, they'll go in. So for example, I could just be forced to take Delafeu because he has 91 pace, but he's not going to get placed in there instead of Gareth Bale. And on the same token, I could just take Lukaku, who's not going to replace Jamie Vardy. So it doesn't matter if I take either of these, they're not going to replace the players that are there. So I might take Lukaku for a sub, or maybe I just go for the highest pace player. And yeah, let's just make sure we take the top pace every time, just so there's no confusion. So we get Agra there with 92 pace. He is the top pace player. He's not going to beat Gareth Bale for pace, fortunately enough. So that doesn't make any difference. Next up, we have got 3 players here. Tyson's got too much pace. Dani Alves has too much pace. So now I can take either one of these 3 for a sub. And I'm going to take Edison Cavani to maybe bring him on as a late super sub. And then the last reserves pick is going to be Matos at left back. Or Hamsik at centre mid. What does Diarra? I don't know what Diarra and Mayo have. The last thing I want to do is force a replacement for Felipe Melo. But I wouldn't mind getting rid of Diarra. But I think does Diarra have 83 pace? Well, I have to take Matos anyway, don't I? 85 pace. Doesn't make any difference because Matos had the most pace there. Haps has got 92. So Diarra, it would have been Felipe Melo that got replaced there if I did have a centre mid or a CDM. So Hamsik would have gone in that role. It wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world. Next goalkeeper, who has the most speed here, is Keylor Navas. And Keylor Navas also has more speed than Asenjo. But it doesn't make any difference because he still gets a strong link to Sergio Ramos. So very happy with that. Next on the list. Most pace here is Karsdorp at right back. Doesn't make any difference. He doesn't fit into the team either. And then next up, come on, give me some centre backs. See, it's going to be hard to get a new centre back because it's going to be the fullbacks that have the most pace. So Armero here with 87 pace. We pick him. He doesn't have more than Hap, so he doesn't go into the team either. Next up, oh God, don't give me a fast silver. So as a right mid or a left mid, neither of them are going to get into the team. So we'll take the inform just because he's got better, well-rounded stats. And then the next player we're going to take is the left mid Durmaz. So again, doesn't fit in there instead of Cristiano Ronaldo. These are the last 2 picks now, guys. Are we going to get someone? Oh my God. Not only do I get Insigne, he has to go in instead of Cristiano Ronaldo because he's faster. I did not expect that. I thought Ronaldo would be in there the whole time. And we get Mane, who is faster than Gareth Bale. Now that's actually not bad because we get a chem boost off of Mane. I didn't expect Bale and Ronaldo to be wiped out there. Let's get the paciest players on the bench as well. We'll organise it by way of speed instead of by way of rating. So Gareth Bale up in second spot. Bailey there goes in at that left mid spot. Oh, sorry, the third spot. 92 pace from Agra will go in instead of the inform. The 91 pace of Delafeu will go in instead of Durmaz. The 87 pace of Armero and Karsdorp. So we don't even have Cavani or Matos on the bench. I'll do that anyway. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. These drafts aren't designed to try and win the draft. They're designed to have fun with different players. So having these pacey players on the bench is going to be fun. Our team doesn't really have the greatest speed. Vardy's 95 pace, super quick. Insigne 99, fine. Mane 97, fine. Tyson up at 92 is good. Do we have a cam? We don't have any central players really. It's all wingers because that's what's the best opportunity to offer. Diarra at 77 is fine, but Melo is quite low at 69. However, Alves 95, Ramos 81, Toprak 76 is nice and fast, and Haps at 92 is pretty damn decent. For a manager, let's see what we can get. That takes up to 63, 64 with the Eredivisie, 60 with the Allsvenskan, 60 with the Portuguese, and 61 there. So we get the Brazilian Eredivisie manager will take us up to 64 chemistry. Gotta be honest, dudes, I don't expect much out of this team. Although the players themselves are pretty decent, we'll probably bring on Ronaldo and Bale for Tyson and Jamie Vardy. And maybe we'll bring on one of these defensive players to go in instead of Toprak or Hat. Probably not, actually. I might bring on Karsdorp for Melo and put Dani Alves in at CDM. But this team is actually full of really good players. It's just going to be whether or not the chemistry will affect them in game. So I don't really expect much out of this team. Maybe 1 win, maybe as many as 2 wins. But I wouldn't be surprised if I went out in the first round either. This, though, guys, is going to be the end of the draft. Let's get into the gameplay. Okay, guys, as we get into the gameplay, the first opponent we'll come up against got a 93 chemistry, 87 rated team. Quite a nice team there, some really key players. Alexis Sanchez, the Henrik Mkhitaryan, the Cuadrado and Team of the Year, Dani Alves. Very nice indeed. Bonucci's very good. The Gundogan isn't bad at all, but there's a bulk of his team is not the absolute best. And I was hoping that I'd be able to capitalise on that, and that's exactly what we did. Tyson coming up big with the first goal, a finesse shot from the top of the box, and that was just one of many. And what's really interesting to me is the last 3 or 4 drafts, I'd say, it's just been goals galore, scoring lots, conceding lots, but mostly scoring lots. And this game was no different. We get 2 goals very early on. We eventually go and get a 3rd goal as well. Brilliant play through the midfield, through the box, into Vardy, who shoots and scores. And I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting a rage quit. We go through this at all. Every time I talk about rage quits, there's always some people in the comment section, rightly so, you know, it's a valid point, that say, why should someone rage quit? You know, they don't owe you an easy victory. They don't owe you anything. You know, like what benefit do they have by quitting? Like, they might want to try and learn from staying. But you can tell when somebody's sticking around to try and play and try and grow as a player and try and figure out their mistakes. And you can tell quite easily when someone's just angry and agitated and trolling. And this guy was on that latter category. You know, he kept bringing his keeper out. He kept playing the offside trap. He was getting a couple of red cards. And it was just kind of like, what's the point? You know, if you're not here, if you're not going to try and learn from your mistakes and see where you're going wrong to grow as a player through a loss as big as this, like, what is the point of sticking around? But he continued to stick around, and I continued to put the ball in the back of the net, eventually getting the 9th goal there in the 90th minute from Mane, and that was all she wrote. So 9 goals in game 1, 4 there for Jamie Vardy. I believe he got 3 assists as well. But a huge victory to take us through. Of course, during Draft of Glory, I'm running obviously the series of A9 skills on this account as well. But during Draft of Glory, we've been doing really, really well, getting to semi-finals, finals, and victories all the time. Our second opponent has got a very nice team. Striker Sanchez, team of the season Suarez, team of the season David Luiz. A very nice midfield with that informed Matuidi, Kante, Theo Walcott, Felipe Luis, informed Thiago Silva, Dani Alves, and Willian. It's actually a very well put together team with a lot of soft links, very well built hybrid. But it didn't really make much of a difference. We get the first goal here. Vardy, beautiful little spin, gets it into Tyson. And Tyson scores. He was probably one of the weaker players on the team, was Tyson, but he was coming up trumps. He scored a great goal to set the goal scoring off in the first game. He scored a good goal to set the goal scoring off in the second game. Vardy comes through into the second half. Now, of course, we've got Cristiano Ronaldo on as a sub. He shoots and scores, and that puts us 2-0 to the good. And at that point, I was pretty comfortable that I was going to go through. And eventually, we picked up the 3rd ball as well. Jamie Vardy here, breaking through the defence. Lots of time, lots of space. Finds Ronaldo. Finesses that one past the near post of the goalkeeper to make it 3-0 in the 84th minute. There was time for one more goal in this game. It didn't come for me. A big, long ball through to my opponent's player. Willian has a shot there. And it was, I think, Dani Alves of all people that came up trumps to score the goal to give him a glimmer of hope late on, but unfortunately not enough hope, and that was the end of that game. So into the semi-final with this team. I was happy with getting to the semi-final with this team. You know, it was a good team. It wasn't a great team, but I was quite happy with it. And in the semi-final, we come up against another striker, Sanchez. What is life? Team of the year, Ronaldo and Cruz. Team of the season, Alderweireld, Ramos and Felipe Luis. Inform, Handanovic, Son and Sanchez. Team of the knockout stage, Mesut Ozil. Man of the match, Willian, and a regular Antonio Valencia there in at right back. And the first goal came again quite early on. Lassana Diarra here down the left-hand side. What a career Lassana Diarra's had. Playing for Arsenal, Real Madrid and Portsmouth, you know, Portsmouth. But we end up getting the first goal with Jamie Vardy there in at the near post. And the second goal also came from the big man up front. He's banging in a lot of goals for us so far this draft. A great penalty into the bottom right-hand corner made it 2-0. And I thought after this short period of time in the game, just 15 minutes, I thought I was going to have a really comfortable game through. But it wasn't until the 80th minute before another goal came. Oh, just a mess, an absolute mess. I thought, is this going to happen? Am I actually going to throw away a comfortable 2-goal lead with 10 minutes to go? Well, the answer was no. My opponent went all-out attack to try and get back into the game. Fair play to him for giving it his best shot. It allowed me to counter him down the left-hand side here. Jamie Vardy got in behind, squares that one to Tyson, who scores in his 3rd consecutive game. Obviously very nice. And then in the 90th minute, once again, Vardy gets through, plays it into Tyson, who sends that one through to Insigne. Insigne shoots, Insigne scores, and the pace was just too much for my opponent here. We end up winning the game very comfortably with a big scoreline of 4-1, leaving just the final. So there's already been a lot of goals again in this tournament. 9 goals, 4 goals and 5 goals in the first 3 games. And in the final, we'll come up against a team with incredible players yet again. George Best, team of the season. Marcelo, the record breaker. Ronaldo, the team of the season. Messi. A nice defence, not a great defence. The midfield is a bit shaky and the goalkeeper is very weak. And that was going to be my aim there, was going to be to try and break down the defence to get any kind of long shots, any good shots on, because I know that they'll go in. And we end up getting the first goal here. Jamie Vardy sends that one through to Felipe Melo, who shoots and scores. And we go 1-0 up in the final, which of course I was very happy with. Imagine getting a draft win with the fastest team. Who would have thought that pace would have been so overpowered? But my opponent did pull one back. And deservedly so. He was very much in the game. He was playing very well, very good FIFA, and he absolutely deserved to score that goal at that time. And eventually, I got another goal here. He played the offside trap previously in the game, so I thought I'd give it a shot, see if it works. It worked. It's the first time it's worked for me in I don't know how many games, but Jamie Vardy again gets in behind, pops it in the back of the net, and off of that, my opponent literally went all-out attack. It was a really, really even, close game up to this stage, and at 1-1 he had every chance of staying involved. He went 2-1 down and he literally just lost the plot. He went all out attack and it was easy for me to get in behind him after that. We made it 3-1 with Ronaldo, and I just sit there and feel like if my opponent just kept playing his game, if he didn't go all out attack, he probably would have had a better chance of winning. And we eventually scored a 4th goal with Cristiano Ronaldo there to go 4-1 up. My opponent did pull 1 goal back, I believe. I think he pulled 1 goal back anyway. If not, we're going to score a goal here anyway. Lassana Diarra through to Insigne. Beautiful little finish to make it 5-1. There is one more goal in the game. I'm positive my opponent scored a 2nd goal, so this must be his goal here. Maybe not. Did I win 6-1? I guess I won 6-1. How about that? We win 3-1, 4-1, 6-1 and 9-0. And that, guys, was the end of the draft. A huge victory for the boys. The team that is full of pace was able to very comfortably win the draft. This is going to be the end of the gameplay. Let's get into the packs. Alright, guys, so we end up winning that draft in a very comfortable fashion. My final opponent was actually quite a tough competitor. It was a really, really even game. And when he got back to 1-1, I was like, yep, that's fair. You know, he's played well. He probably deserves a goal. I immediately scored. I tried the chip through ball because he tried the offside trap from kickoff at half time. So I thought, all right, here we go. You know, this guy's about the offside trap life. So I hit him with the chip through ball. Got that 2nd goal with Vardy. And immediately something snapped in him and he just lost interest in the game. It went from like a hyper competitive game at 1-1 to him falling apart at 2-1, and I just walked the rest of the final. So other than that first half of the final, it was really, really easy. And, you know, pace, man. This team is just pace. Obviously, there's some good players in here. You know, Insigne has insane stats. Haps is a very good player. Top rack, pretty decent. High defending, high pace. Ramos and Navas, solid. Dani Alves, Mane, Jamie Vardy, solid. Tyson, really good stats as well. You know, Melo and Diarra were going to be the only downsides, but other than Diarra shooting, he's actually got ridiculously good cards. You know, really well-rounded, medium-high work rates, which is perfect. And for Melo, you know, 6 foot tall, medium-high work rates as well. It all just came together in just a ball of greatness. I subbed on Ronaldo and Karsdorp a couple of times. Bale 1 game. Didn't need to make subs other than that. So really, really happy with the performance here. And another draft win. Let's hope we can pick up something decent for the reward this time. We get the worst prize, in my opinion. The 2 25k packs and the 2 5k packs. Although saying that, the way that the market is right now with consumables and the general price of average common golds, we'll make some decent profit out of this. A squad fitness card there, which is obviously very nice. There's a few marquee matchups out right now that has some big players. I think Spurs. Let me go into Footbin actually, so we can see as we open this gold pack here. We'll see what the marquee matchup players are, so we know which ones to sell. And I might go into the club as well actually, and we'll take a real look at what we're going to sell and what we're going to keep. So Schalke and Leipzig, a couple of the Russian leagues. In fact, let me store it all to the club, and then we'll go and list up at the end of the video right here. We'll go and list up a lot of the players. Inter, Fiorentina, Spurs, Chelsea, Spartak, Lokomotiv, Schalke and Leipzig are the teams that we're going to try and get rid of here. And see if we can make a bit of profit on some of these players. So some nice players there, an 82 and an 83, not so bad. It's definitely, you know, definitely had worse. And then our last pack, let's see if we can get ourselves an inform, maybe would be nice. No pause there, no inform, no special card, no big flare. All too bad. We get Mankilo there, a couple of silvers. We get an Inter player, so Murillo might be worth a nice little bit. Literally just a little bit, but hey, a little bit more than what he's normally worth. Can't complain about that, can we? Let's go and take a look at the big. Who's the most expensive team? Wow, the Russian players are the most expensive. Let's go to theirs first. Spartak versus Lokomotiv. Let's see what we've got for those. Russian, so Spartak versus Lokomotiv. So Spartak Moscow. So this dude, Popov. Yeah, maybe a few thousand coins. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to like pop them up for like 3,800 each. And put a starting price a little bit higher than normal. Bochetti might be worth a little bit more because he's Italian. 1.6, 3,500. All right, maybe we'll go like we'll go 3,000 for a man here, and hope that works. Let's pop this dude up for 3,000 too. And if they all sell for 3,000, that's 4 players that normally wouldn't even sell for 300 coins that we're going to be able to make 10 times the value on. And that is why the packs that I just got are actually quite profitable. SBCs have made them so. SBCs have made it so that they are profitable packs, which is awesome. So that is Spartak. Let's go to Lokomotiv. See what we've got here. We've got a few players here as well. How much is Korluk? 3.5k bid on him. Jesus. Oh, it's because he's rare. Because you need 4 rares as well, I believe. Which means this guy here is also going to be worth a nice little chunk. Yes, nice. That's what's up, guys. Let's pop him up for 5k. We'll pop the common dude up for a nice little 3k there as well, and the silver dude will throw up as well. So that means of all the other ones as well, it's going to be a very much similar scenario. So we'll go now to the Premier League, and we've got Spurs versus Chelsea. I've probably got a lot of players. We've got Moses and Musonda here. Not worth too much for Moses. We'll pop him up for 2.5k. I'm not really interested if they're not really worth that much. Yeah, well, I mean, it's more than normal. We'll pop him up for 2.5k as well, and we'll pop up the transferred Caballero for 2k, and then Spurs is the other team here. Let's pop them in, and we'll have a look what we've got. Oh, we've got loads here. I'm probably going to do this off camera, actually, because otherwise we're going to be here for days. Yeah, I'll go and do it off camera. Let's go and have one quick look at the Schalke players and see how much they're selling for. Oh, look at that. I've got a full team of Schalke players. And that's why they're not worth anything, because there are so many of them. Alright, fair enough. We'll do that all off camera, dudes. I don't want you to be here for days looking at what I'm doing on the transfer market. But immediately we can tell a lot of them have sold. Mad profit, dudes. Just mad profit. Gotta love that. This is going to be the end of the video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like, rating, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But for now, guys, I'm out. Peace.